It's been 3 years since Suleiman Fakiri's death in an Ontario jail cell. No one has been able to tell his family how the 30-year-old man with mental illness died. This weekend, vigils will be held across Canada to honor the 3rd anniversary of his death. Joining us now over Skype is Yusuf Fakiri, the brother of Suleiman. Yusuf, thank you for joining us here today for what must be a very emotional and difficult topic for you to discuss. Your brother suffered from schizophrenia, died in a segregation cell at the Central East Correctional Centre in Lindsay, Ontario, while awaiting transfer to a mental health facility in December 2016. Can you walk us through the day you found out about his death?
Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate this. The night the 2 police officers knocked on my family's door, it was a Thursday evening, late evening, where lives would be turned upside down. And that was December 15, 2016. Little did we know where this nightmare, what it would bring to us. And to this day, frankly, we're still in this nightmare 3 years to the day of his death. No answers, no transparency, no accountability, no responsibility for a man with a mental illness, a Canadian man who was vulnerable, was killed in a very institution that was supposed to take care of him.
How long was he in jail for?
11 days.
Just for 11 days, okay. And they were aware of his situation and if he needed any medication, that kind of thing?
Suleiman's mental illness was well documented. My family tried to see him 4 times, not once were we able to see him. The one time that I went with my younger brother, I articulated to staff that Suleiman was suffering from schizophrenia. They were aware of this illness, and as you mentioned already, a couple of days before his death, an Ontario judge ordered him to be transferred to a mental health facility. Instead of getting him help and helping him, he was sent to us in a body bag.
Wow. And so again, no answers at all as to what happened, that was the outcome.
No answers. 2 investigations took place after Suleiman passed away. One was the coroner's report. The other one was the police investigation. The coroner's report took 8 months in their investigation. In that investigation, a few very important facts came out. In addition to segregation, the last few minutes of Suleiman's life is that both his legs and his hands were tied. He was pepper sprayed twice. He had 50 bruises on his body, and more than 12 guards were involved into his death. The second investigation was led by the local police investigating the local jail, the Quarter Lakes Police Service. They took 1 year in their investigation, and they decided not to press charges. And what's remarkable about this is that they actually never spoke to the eyewitness that would come forward after Suleiman, just earlier this year, when an eyewitness who saw everything. They never invested to speak with him.
And so Correctional Services and the Ontario Provincial Police, they're saying nothing to you?
The case has now been with the Ontario Provincial Police. Let me add that this is the second police investigation now. The Ontario Provincial Police has had the case for a year now. We do not know, when they'll make a decision. Frankly, it is absolutely, it's absolutely appalling that my family has waited 3 years to ask for some very simple answers. My brother was alive before this incident. The 50 bruises are quite a compelling evidence, so I don't know why it's so hard to come to the conclusion of pressing criminal charges against the guards who killed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds incredible. Now, just to note, we also have reached out to both Correctional Services and the OPP for comment, and they have not returned any of our calls either. So I hope they bring you some answers soon. You've been waiting certainly a long time. And one of the ways you're trying to, I guess, put a little bit of pressure and get people involved to find out exactly what happened to your brother is these rallies you're having this weekend, the Vigils. Can you tell us anything about them?
Yes, absolutely. My family, we had a decision to make, a choice to make 3 years ago when Suleiman was killed, and we chose to fight. The 7 rallies that are being held on December 15th is not just to remember Suleiman. It's to remember Tony Du, it's to remember John Din, it's to remember Ashley Smith, Pierre Corleon, Justin Saint-Amour, just some individuals that have lost their lives in the justice system that have had mental illness. Suleiman's story is the story that became the catalyst to give other families hope to fix a broken system. Although we're remembering my brother, these vigils are also about remembering the other victims that have lost their lives. We have to say enough is enough, and we have to make sure that another family does not go through what my family has gone through and other families have gone through. That's why these vigils are happening. It's not just about Suleiman. It's not about just about the Fakiri family. It's about us as Canadians standing up for fighting for what is right. People with mental illness need to be in hospitals, not in body bags. People with mental illness need to be respected, given decency and humility. And we, frankly, have failed them, and that's what these vigils are about.
Can you tell us how your family is dealing with this?
You know, I was just speaking to my mom half an hour ago, and Suleiman's life that was taken away from us. He had a very special relationship with every single family member, and our lives have been literally turned upside down. My mom, suffers every day. She mentions him. It's like, Yusuf, when are you going to get answers about my son? My dad cries himself to sleep. I myself have suffered from a lot of difficult depression, and my sister doesn't even go to his grave because it traumatizes her. And people that are listening to this, they need to understand that there's so many families like this that went through. And my family, we not only did we just lose the amazing person that Suleiman was in our life, but we also need to understand that what my family is going through and what we've gone through the last 2 years is absolutely irrepressible. It's absolutely appalling. And frankly, we don't deserve to be treated like this. No Canadian family deserves to be treated the way we're treating.
If people want to get involved in the vigil tomorrow, what time is it taking place in Vancouver?
It's at the Claire Culhan Memorial Bench at 1 p.m. And it's one of 7 vigils across the nation. And one of the speakers is executive member of the British Columbia Civil Liberties Association.
Thank you so much for your time today, Yusuf. Very important message you're pointing out there, and hopefully people will take part in the vigil and listen to your story and your family's story, and that answers will be found so that your family can have some peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much.